so what's the point? I should just like come straight out of the gates, but I don't want to wear myself out too quickly. Anyway, welcome back to Disco Elysium. We have a couple of things to do today. Well, first off, we're searching for cryptids. Twitch just asked me if I wanted to accept cookies. Are they sugar, macadamia, or spyware? I don't think I talked to him like individually yet.
Hello, I'm Gary. Very generous of you to help us out, officer.
It doesn't sound like you're. Oh. Oh. Oh no. He's a Nazi. I just noticed like the almost black sun behind him. It kind of makes sense.
Yellow man. I mean, officer.
Oh Jesus! Fucking Christ! I thought we were done with this.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook. Yellow man. Interesting. This is something to ask him about after a little probing first.
Are you the weasel?
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization.
You're done when the game says you're done. How many races do I have to get through? Okay. Not a lover of the great outdoors. I'm more of a city boy too.
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
I think I might be a drunk or degenerate, maybe even both. I'm sure you've been tempted to drink.
Oh, I've been tempted. But someone has to stay strong for Revocall.
This are lucky racist. Oh, it comes full circle. Hi, Jacob. His gaze shifts to the pile of soggy logs at his feet.
He pronounces Revocall with a hard K, unlike other people.
Yeah, because that's not how you fucking pronounce it.
Serious question time. This man is no innocent. No one is.
You said Revocall? Do you know anything about the man hanging behind the whirling rags? Is this your mug? Hold up the yellow man mug. Did you get your gun? No. We have to meet with somebody at like 9 o'clock. I think it was 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. Evra Claire, the union leader, arranged a meeting with them. Surprised to see my colleague, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Get your gun, shoot the racist. Oh, I'm tempted. You said Revocall?
I like to pronounce it the hard way. The old way. The Vespertine way.
He nods solemnly.
He winks at you, trying to relay some hidden message, inviting you to mispronounce it too, perhaps. It's odd.
It's odd.
It's a secret rite. A very fringe nationalist handshake, probably.
Do you know anything about the man hanging behind the whirling rags? Is this your mug?
My mug? Why would you think that?
Say yellow man. It's not something many people go around saying. It seemed as if you were calling to it longingly when you cried yellow man. I can see you recognize it. It's in your eyes. The kind of guy who might have a collection of mugs like this home in his colonial mug collection.
Really? I hear it all the time. All in jest, of course. No offense meant to anyone.
Still seems suspicious. I mentioned the mug was found at the scene of a lynching.
Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I am very sorry, officer.
He pauses.
You're not going to find me, are you?
Do I want money. I could really use some money. I just want information. Do I can go the completely straight route, or do I the 20 real? I'm gonna get some real out of this guy.
Okay, I deserve that. And I won't do it again.
Do the gay
You
route.
have my word.
I took the gay route.
I don't know what got into me. Stuffing my garbage in another man's property, I've been having trouble at work lately. The Koikos are price dumping us out of competition.
Wait, is he not gonna actually give me the money?
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law.
Son of a bitch, he's actually gonna turn in the fine. Alright. But why do they yell at each other when they're 5 feet away? How did you get into the trash container?
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services, CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez.
Why would you need to get into everyone's trash?
So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Hemians run it like a mob.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself.
Disgraced?
Disgrace.
For the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Did you put the clothes of a murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the whirling of rags, into that trash container?
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that.
Do explain, please.
I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know?
Yes, yes. What happened?
Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly.
So it wasn't his mug.
Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away.
Okay, it was his
and,
mug.
Well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too.
Right. It was just civic duty.
Lieutenant remarks drolly.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty.
You wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armor, would you?
Armor? No.
He changes his mind.
Yes, of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it.
Unlikely story.
An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit more wrongdoing.
He's lying to you, sire.
There's something going on here. You should observe him more closely after this topic is concluded.
Let's move on for now.
I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way.
He's visibly relieved it's over.
Does this mean you were in his apartment, admiring his colonial mug collection? Perhaps it would be interesting to tell him.
Analyze Gear's composure. Let's see. I don't have very good composure right now. Well, not good enough for this. I'm not gonna spend my skill point on that just yet. Are you a cryptozoologist too?
No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
What does he do then? This feels like a good opportunity to dominate him.
What do you do then, if not cryptozoology?
Oh, this and that.
So you're making ends meet and advancing your career objectives. Sounds intriguing.
Sometimes.
Gary!
See, he's being evasive. Shake him up. Show him who's boss.
Fuck yeah, Authority. That's not an answer!
I just didn't want to bore you with unnecessary detail, officer. I work as a special courier. You know, urgent deliveries, overnight deliveries, deliveries to out-of-the-way locations.
So Amazon Prime. What kinds of things?
Oh, I don't know the contents, officer. Part of my job is discretion.
Do you mean drug components? But I've already got Ruby on that.
He's trying too hard to seem untroubled by your question. The rigidity in his posture gives him away.
Do you deliver drugs? Do you deliver guns? Do you deliver letters to the secret mistresses of corporate and government officials? One of these things is not like the others.
No, that's far too dangerous. Besides, dealing drugs isn't for people like me and you, officer.
This guy is really fucking irritating.
No, nothing like that. I leave that to companies with hundreds of years of tradition in arms manufacturing. No need for an amateur like me cutting it.
Do you deliver letters to the secret mistresses of corporate and government officials?
What do I look like? A pansy?
Kind of.
Besides, that kind of cavorting goes against the community values that would strengthen our city.
You're a simple cop asking a simple question. He can't beat around the bush much longer.
You've already behaved suspiciously with the trash container business. Stop evading the question.
Okay, fine. You got me. I'm a special topping pie delivery courier.
A very specific image came to mind when he said topping pie. What?
You heard me. I deliver topping pies. It's temporary. I'm looking for another job. Not many jobs for good men out there these days.
You said you deliver special topping pies. What makes these topping pies special? And what is a topping pie? A pie with toppings? That's most pies.
They're wheat-free and vegan and huge.
He pauses.
He's thinking of a way to gain some advantage from his embarrassing situation.
That's basically it. I'm a pie delivery man. How about we change the subject?
I'm satisfied. Are you satisfied? Because I am.
No. No. No, endurance, no. No. Oh, endurance, we gotta do better than that. We gotta do better. Can I increase my whole physique skill? I can't. Oh, right, I would need to... I need to do something with my thoughts to do that. But I can't just increase endurance from here.
No.
What does he do?
Oh, this and that.
See,
I work as a Oh,
he's trying too hard to seem untroubled, but
okay, you heard me. They're wheat-free.
he's thinking of a way to get...
That's basically it.
I'm satisfied.
Oh, come on!
Because I am.
Son of a gun! Ugh! I need more endurance, probably from items. You were surprised to see my colleague, Lieutenant
Not many
Kisaragi.
Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sale. I meant no offense, truly.
Do you remember how, when we met Measurehead and I said the next race would be a really good one?
Yes.
Well, this is that racist.
Gary, are you a racist? I think the previous racist better. He's nothing compared to Measurehead. Yes, a lucky racist.
Hey, man, all I meant was there are not many Sealites around here. I'm just stating a fact.
The lieutenant is a native of Revachol.
Oh, yes, of course he is. I was just speaking about his connections. Let's change the subject, okay?
So, Gary, you live nearby, in an apartment in Martinez.
Sure do, officer.
Sure do, officer.
His eyes narrow slightly. He's wondering where this is going.
And you're a big man from Heimdall fan? The lieutenant must be very angry with you. I think I broke into your apartment. I'm very sorry. I'll return to this later. Say, Mr. Clay must be very angry with you.
Mr. Everard?
Yes, he insisted I open the door to your apartment.
So you work for Everard Clare? Officer, please tell him we're good. No, tell him I'll make it up to him. What have I done? He'll send the muscle after me.
The man looks around whispering. He makes sure no one hears you talk.
As he lowers his tone, he hunches his back.
Really, I don't even know what it was about. I just opened the door. He doesn't like me. Just shoot yourself, Gary. It's just an open door. Alright, the discussion on this topic is over, Gary.
Of course. I won't do it again. If there's anything I can do to assist you, or the Union, just ask, okay? I'll try to help if I can.
This scared him proper. He's positively melting from fear. Has to prop himself up with a lot of anger to keep it together.
The weather vane has turned. He cannot be unturned.
He clearly liked his squirming. He may even have changed his mind about the whole door opening operation.
Wow. Whoa, that raised a lot of composure. But I'm still gonna do this right quick.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law. I mean, officers.
That shirt looks very uncomfortable. Look at him, barely keeping the thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath.
His massive musculature.
No, he's scrawny. Try again.
Something worn underneath it.
It sounds like he's wearing some kind of armor under his clothes. You can't tell it's there just from looking at him. Probably stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
I see you're a connoisseur of high quality combat gear.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once.
He unbuttons the shirt.
I was ashamed of what I did. And I didn't want you to know.
You see gleaming white ceramic shine underneath. A thin layer of interlocking plates covers his gaunt torso.
We're not detecting falsehood, sire. He's gearing up to admit the truth. This shame is surprisingly sincere.
Gary, what's going on?
I'm stripping!
Later, Morale. I've got apologizing to do.
No, you've got explaining to do.
The lieutenant's tone is icy. Oh, he's wearing the dead guy's armor. Yep. Probably to protect himself because he knows that Everard is coming after him. So he's wearing it for protection, like genuinely. Give me that armor now.
He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat.
Sweet. Why did you really put those clothes in the trash?
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling.
I heard that and thought he was stripping. Well, he was. He's wearing a part of the dead man's armor.
So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left, so I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have... Fuck.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. CLI officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
He shakes his head.
They were thoroughly conservative men, he realizes suddenly. It's difficult to say what the lieutenant thinks of this historic apology. His face does not belie emotions.
Why did you lie to me, Gary?
Because I was weak. I should have told you the moment I saw you. But
The hell, Gary? You in trouble?
I'll explain later.
He doesn't must have the strength to yell. Do you know who killed the hangman?
I always thought it was the Union. But I sure as hell won't go around saying that anymore. You have my word.
Ah, that's why Everett is
I
after
won't be
him.
running my mouth on this subject anymore.
This is all he knows.
Are we done here, Gary?
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again. I won't mess with Mr. Clare either. You have my word.
Thank you for your cooperation. This heavy military blockades are riddled with bullet holes crumbling. So we need to check the traps. No boat in the boathouse today. That little side quest is something important after all. Yay! Oversized superstar sunglasses and magnesium. Check out the oversized sunglasses. Dazzling reflexes, and the mirror lies. The mirror lies to you. Do not believe its lies.
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set before. Same mesh, same wiring.
Look around.
Behind you, the ruins of a residential building rise over the reeds, shielding them from the wind. The reeds rustle confidently.
Reach for the trap.
Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten. You see no carnivorous reed phasmid gorging on them.
Big surprise.
Lieutenant
Anyway,
grins mercilessly.
1 down. 3 to go.
I was hoping it would be in the first one.
No, you weren't.
He looks at the sea, then you, laying the trap back down on the ground. A boathouse is shoddily constructed. A strong breeze might blow it over. You don't know my life, Kim. I don't know my life. Ancient paint spilling off the roof of the shaded bench, covered in rust.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Even more bullet holes. Something's definitely going down here.
Correct. The density of the bullet holes is unusual. Even in a general average bullet hole frequency in Martinez sense. Grim affairs. Meaning, this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something you don't see these days.
Why
The
not?
manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed after the revolution. The destructive power of such tools proved to be too much. We do need to retain some humanity in this world.
Making a political statement, I like it. Why this many bullet holes? Bullet holes in the plaza, bullet holes in the backyard. Know about the revolution, know about failed electrical. Thank you. What was the guy's name? Trent? I don't remember. With the son that was telling us about the electrical company. Still gonna save. Because 72% is not 100.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall. A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are their heads lowered and eyes
Mr.
blindfolded.
Wumpty Dumpty.
It's
Yes!
quiet. No
Wumpty
sound,
Dumpty.
no movement.
What was it? Dom something. Oh, it's a firing squad. Oh. Ah.
10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner. Automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side.
Why would you need automatic rifles for a firing squad?
The sun blazes high up in the sky, baking the planks, the sand, your skin. The order was carried out in the afternoon. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains.
What is this?
The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed.
Look at the people against the wall.
A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes.
Take off my necklace.
They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background.
Yeah, because I'm just imagining the scene.
Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them.
Esprit de corps. Were they officers?
Comrades, the forsaken, the wretched, who tried to rise against the horrors of the world.
Look at the line of soldiers.
7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one? Men of duty, dark duty.
Who were they?
Murderers, twisted by orders. Young boys forced into killing.
I was mostly looking for names, but okay. Look at the person sitting on the side.
The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
Who was who in this execution?
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces.
Remember what Trent Heidelstein said about that?
Oh, Trent Heidelstein. What if it was the fell personnel when the assets were being seized by the revolutionaries?
Another likely scenario.
Lieutenant nods.
Or maybe.
What about people from the coalition, the so-called moralists?
It's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was a commandant, the superior giving the orders.
A cold sea wind blows away the figures.
The sign says Entre interdite. 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 Interdite? Entre interdite? I don't know. No ticket booth, no longer in operation. People pay money to park here? No one would pay now. Because there's really nowhere to park, first of all. The door's not only bar shut, it's inaccessible. Is that a sailor cap? Fawn Pipo Pipo. Ultimate peak focus. So this Pipo head gets an aerodynamic swoop skier's helmet, but none of its protective qualities. Covers the wearer's ears and eyebrows to bring down the drag coefficient. What is this? Ah. It kills my perception though. I don't really like that. What does it give me? +2 logic. When did I get 3 health? Oh, because of endurance? That's probably what it is. Okay. My horrific necktie isn't talking to me anymore. I could do with a little less perception. Because if it's -1, it's bonus from items, bonus from thoughts. Okay, so does the head actually not affect it? Let me look. Perception 6. Ah, oh, it negates. Because I'm wearing something else that boosts my perception. I don't know what that is. What am I wearing right now that boosts perception? Oh, the shoes! Okay. So it doesn't change that much. They just cancel each other out. More money. Okay, let's look for more traps. Shoot. I'm mad. Damn it, I'm mad backwards is damn it, I'm mad. That was a good one for once, Mayor. You are off the edge of the map, Jackie. Section of the coast hasn't been used in decades. Okay. So in other words, Ruby would not be here. Those are the kids. I've already talked to this little girl, but Maybe now she has more to say.
Hello, mister.
Do you know anyone named Ruby?
Luby. Ruby.
Suddenly the girl gets all serious and leans in as if she's about to tell you a secret.
My mom tells me I'm a big girl, but she doesn't know that I can't say Earl. Or like, sometimes I can, but then
Kids.
Lieutenant shakes his head. Alright, are you Lily Ann's daughter?
Yes, I am. Little Lily. You know my mom?
Not really, but I like Hey little girl, I'm trying to fuck your mother. Can you help me out? We met earlier.
That's nice. My mom is great. She's never angry or anything. Bye!
Goodbye, little Lily. Really? I'd like to. Alright. Okay, back to looking for the traps. So he told me exactly where they all were, right? Check the trap and lands in far northeast of the Feld building. Far northeast of the Feld building. Okay, far northeast. It's up and to the left. Up and to the right, excuse me. So the Feld building, that's this one. Far northeast. Far northeast. Hello. Is this the weapons depot that we went to earlier?
Old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it.
Yes. This one? Yes.
A familiar apparatus lies among the reeds.
Look around.
The reeds sway in the coastal breeze. They seem to be waiting for something. The wind picks up here, near the Cape's end, surrounding the narrow strip of land from 3 cardinal directions. It's cold for this time of year. This trap is also full of panicked locusts. No sign of any cryptozoological beast inside.
Another empty trap.
Lieutenant Mick takes a note more out of habit than duty. Next one is the lucky one. How are you enjoying the cardio, Lieutenant? I'm quite enjoying it myself.
Always up for a good job. Otherwise, would I still be on this case with you?
He smiles and raises his collar. It's windy.
The reeds sway in the coastal breeze. The wind picks up here, near the Cape's end.
Every nook and cranny. Then I have to go back and check the one
Nothing has changed.
Yeah, which one were they talking about? Check the tram near the canal you cross southeast of the village. Oh, okay. Check the trap near the canal you cross near the southeast of the village. Crawls like a worm from a bird. Crawls like a worm from a bird. Crawls like a worm. Crawls like a worm from a bird. Deathly pews in the shadows. Many seem to be missing. Oh, this is a creepy church. I shouldn't get distracted. I need to focus on the crypto traps. This is the wrong direction. Okay, there's the drug idle kids. This is the wrong direction as well. Alright. Southeast of the village. It did say southeast, right? Not southwest. Is it in here? No. Because he would have put it near Reed's. There it is.
This trap's not too hard to spot, once you know what to look for. Keeping it, the reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. You see slabs of concrete north. In the east, the city center hums to you. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again. Always the cold. Nothing but locusts in this trap as well. Definitely no cryptozoological monstrosity.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we're done.
His face is red from the cold sea air. He crouches to catch his breath. You getting tired?
No, I'm fine. I didn't mean to complain, it's just...
He's short-winded. The citizens there. Kim is not enjoying himself right now. Oh, cross it.
This is the last of the traps. The one Morel just set. Checking it over, he said, is just a technicality. The reeds by the abandoned campsite hiss and shake. The later it gets, the colder. Remnants of the camp can still be seen in the sand. The fire that's gone out. You feel strange, somehow. The trap feels light and silent as you pick it up. Something is different here. No locust. No phasmid either, but still.
Look closer still. It's empty. Morel didn't leave it empty.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though. Unless you see one in there, I just see an empty trap.
The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others. Like someone or something picked the trap up and shook it before dropping it back down on the ground.
I do get the feeling that someone or something may have messed with the trap.
Perhaps our cryptozoologists have competition in the form of an actual entomologist, or someone else is sabotaging them. I could present more theories, but then I would be taking this on as a case, which I'm not.
But what if it was the phasm? What if it ate them and got out? Probably wasn't the phasm, but still, Morel needs to know.
We did sort of promise to tell them, didn't we?
He seems to regret the fact.
A cold gust of air dries your sweaty face, and you look to the dark shadow, the felled building in the distance, drawing you to it. What a strange sensation. Once this is done, should you try to ask again? The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Sit the fuck down, everyone. It's time to roll.
The once bright mural towers above
3% shiver check.
Feld Electrical, and suddenly all is quiet. There is no cold air pushing against your face. The once bright mural towers suddenly all is quiet. The once bright mural suddenly all is quiet.
That was 11. Almost.
The once
In there? In there?
why single out this one? Suddenly all is quiet.
We are doing this.
The once bright mural suddenly all is quiet. The once bright mural suddenly all is quiet. There is no
You don't know
the once
that.
bright mural suddenly all is quiet.
You don't know that at all, man.
The once bright mural suddenly all is quiet.
gonna work. The numbers are changing.
The
If I
once
get a
bright
12,
mirror
it's
towers
good.
above you. Suddenly, all is
I keep getting 11s. I've gotten so many 11s. Like at least 3. Just one more.
the once.
In there?
Why single out this one? Suddenly, all is quiet. There is no.
Okay, that was a 9, but
The once bright mural towers. Suddenly, all is quiet. There is no.
it's an 8 now. But it doesn't matter, it's a dice roll. I just need 112. 112.
The once bright mural. Suddenly,
Okay, that was a 6. You can heck off with that. This is like playing D&D and getting a lot of low rolls, mostly nat 1s. No, it's like playing D&D and your DM is an asshole and says that you need a nat 20 to
the
have
once bright
success at
mural
this.
towers above you, saying.
That's what I'm
"Hello,
going for,
collectible."
really.
Suddenly, all is quiet.
I keep getting on the upper end, but it needs to be a 12.
The once bright mural tapped suddenly.
A lot of
Once bright
sixes.
mural tapped suddenly. All is quiet. There is no.
Does that sound from the press is right? Are you just now catching
Once
on to that,
bright
Jacob?
mural tapped suddenly. All is quiet.
Also, yes.
The once bright mural suddenly. All is quiet. The once bright mural suddenly. All is quiet.
Send help! Send help! Send help in the form
The
of
once
better
bright
luck.
mural tapped suddenly. All is quiet. There is no.
Send help in the form of a perfect
The once
12.
bright mural tapped suddenly.
The odds of this
All is
happening
quiet.
is so low. Yes! Yes, it is. Some might say 3%.
The
But
once bright
statistically,
mural towers
I only
above
need
you,
this to
saying,
happen.
"Fellow
I only need to
collectible,
do this
and suddenly
33
all is
times.
quiet. There is no cold
Like somewhere around 33, 34 times. How many times have I done it so far? I have not been keeping track. It's 33 to 34 times.
The once bright mural towered suddenly.
Got an 11
all is
there.
quiet.
I've been getting 11s like so many times. 3% is higher than 0%. Thank
The
you!
once bright mural tapped suddenly.
Thank you, Mayor.
All is quiet.
Stay in school.
There is no cold man.
That university that all
The once
you
bright
Brits
mural
seem to
towers
enjoy
above
is
you, suddenly.
paying off, isn't it? Son of a gun!
The once.
In there?
No.
Why single out this one suddenly.
Oh
All
my
is quiet. There is no.
How many more times?
The once
33,
bright mural
34.
suddenly.
Ah.
The once bright mural suddenly.
2! That should be something.
Brushing against your forehead. Nervous.
I haven't gotten a 2 yet. That means the 12 is right around the corner, right? That's what that means.
The once bright mural suddenly
Oh!
quiet. There is no
35 times to succeed. You're on 21. It is 34.
wind has done.
It is 33 to 34, but thank you.
The once bright mural suddenly
Oh!
all is quiet.
I don't want to click too quickly, because I don't want to, like,
The
accidentally
once
save
there,
or something.
Why single out this one suddenly? All is quiet.
And there's nothing I can do to raise this! That's the weird thing! That's the weird
The once
thing!
bright mural
I can't
suddenly
raise the chance of
all
this
is
going
quiet.
well.
There is no cold
Usually if I do something, if I talk to someone,
The once
or I
bright
wear the
mural
right equipment,
towers
or
above the
raise
sun.
the level,
All is
the chance goes up. But this one, it doesn't. It's just like, screw you, buddy. You're at 3% no matter what.
The once bright mural towers above sudden. The ruin in front
Oh
of
my
you is
goodness.
silent as a tomb.
Ay,
The once
caramba.
bright mural suddenly all is quiet.
This is what the rest of the stream is going to be. Just prepared. Get ready for it.
The once bright mural suddenly
Oh!
the once. Why single out this one suddenly? All is quiet.
This is only like 6 more.
The
6
once
more
bright
for
mural
sure.
tap suddenly. All is quiet.
I still have not been counting.
The once bright mural suddenly all is quiet.
This is gonna be so worth it. This is gonna be so worth it when it works. You have no
The
idea.
once bright mural suddenly all is quiet.
So many 11s! Just one more! One more! Is
The once
all it would
bright
take.
mural suddenly all is quiet.
This better not be an actual impossible check.
The once bright mural towers up suddenly. All is quiet. The ruin
Check does say impossible. But 3% is possible.
the
Just
once
very
bright
unlikely.
mural suddenly all is quiet.
The old woman did say I was never going
The
to
once
find
bright
her.
mural
She
suddenly
knows
all is quiet.
this coast better than I do. She said, the person that gave me the shack.
The once bright mural suddenly all is quiet.
So she would be in any impossible place.
The
It
once
would be
bright
here.
mural tower suddenly
Yeah?
all is quiet. There
This
is
place that I cannot perceive.
the once bright mural suddenly all is quiet.
Can I take some drugs to make my shivers higher?
The once bright mural suddenly all is quiet.
Do you remember when
The once bright mural suddenly
I started this game and I hit on miss on a disco dancer and the chance was like 4% or something like that of successfully
The
hitting
once
on her,
bright Muriel
and I did it.
towered suddenly.
I was so
All
full of
was
hope. I was so foolish, so young, so naive.
The once.
In there?
Why single out this one suddenly? All is quiet.
At this point, it's like sunk cost fallacy.
The once bright
I
Muriel
cannot do
towers
anything
above you.
else.
Suddenly, all is quiet.
None of these checks are actually impossible, are they?
The once bright Muriel suddenly.
It would
all
suck
is
to find out that you have something that would be terrible. If I actually could not get a
The
12
once
on this
bright
one.
Muriel tap suddenly. All is quiet. The once bright Muriel suddenly. All is The once bright Muriel suddenly. All is quiet.
I hate this game.
The once bright Muriel suddenly.
They wouldn't have made it like this if they did not want you to save scum.
The once bright Muriel suddenly. All is The once bright Muriel suddenly. All
Just gotta keep rolling.
The once bright Muriel suddenly. All is
Threes and twos and sevens. Why is it so important that you get this one check?
The once
Because
bright Muriel
Ruby
suddenly.
might be in here.
All is quiet.
It is possible
bright
that
Muriel
this is where
suddenly.
Ruby is
All
hiding,
is quiet.
who is the primary murder suspect for the hanged man.
The once bright Muriel suddenly. All is quiet. The once bright Muriel tap suddenly. All is quiet.
This could just like blow the whole thing wide open.
The once bright Muriel suddenly.
If it does happen, if it happens that she is in there, it could streamline this whole
The once
process.
bright Muriel suddenly. The once bright Muriel suddenly. All is
Oh.
quiet. There is no call.
Oops.
The once bright Muriel suddenly. All. The once bright Muriel suddenly.
The trumpet
all
is
is
a beautiful instrument, isn't it?
As silent as a tomb. Trying to talk to the wind, the city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there with your hands full. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas? A prayer of sorts. To Revachol.
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least. And then there's the church. If I were a murder suspect, I would not hide in the most prominent building here, but who knows? Maybe she's reckless.
Or spiritual. She could be looking for refuge.
Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village. Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
It's behind him at the dock.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you.
I'm listening to the colors of the wind, bitch.
The once bright mural, suddenly, all is quiet.
This is grinding.
The once bright mural towers above suddenly, all is quiet. The once bright mural suddenly, the once bright mural towers up suddenly.
I'm going to do this for 10 more times before I call it.
The once bright mural suddenly.
That's 10.
all
That's
is
1.
quiet. There is no cold. The once bright mural suddenly.
2. 11.
The once bright mural suddenly.
3.
The once bright mural suddenly.
4.
The once bright mural suddenly.
5.
All is quiet. The once bright mural suddenly. All
6.
is quiet. There is
Looking pretty good, people.
the once bright mural suddenly.
7. And 11.
The once bright mural, even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
What? Really? The successful one tells me the same thing as the failure? The success is still a failure! Are you kidding me? Why is that? Oh my god. The success is still a failure. That's not even
Trying
attempted
to
to
talk
do
to the
here.
wind, the city, whatever you
Oh
is
my
trying
God.
to talk prayer of sorts,
Louis, she's probably... And then there's...
or spiritual.
Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way. Then, if...
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds.
Oh,
You can
really?
always come back.
I can listen to the wind again if I want to.
Look where
And have it tell me the same fucking thing. No wonder it didn't raise the... God damn it. I am so full of hate. I could stab a puppy right now. Like a really cute puppy, not an ugly puppy. But like a really, really cute puppy. I could stab it right now and not feel a thing. That is amazing. I cannot... That was the biggest... That was the biggest fuck you that I've possibly ever experienced in any video game. Oh my god. That cannot be for real. I cannot believe they've done this.
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest for taking the shot? Just some urban detritus, a bottle, and a dilapidated old comms tower.
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freighter. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there. In the whirling in rags.
Campfire was used by the perpetrator. The assailant climbed the comms tower, took the shot there.
It's not possible to climb that ladder. And even if it were, why? There's no platform up there to aim from.
She then looks up, raising his collar. Look over the water to the whirling
There.
rags.
1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay, blue from the distance and the air. You see the smallest rectangle.
That
barely visible.
sucked.
A glowing light on the third floor of the whirling in rags. With binoculars, you would see a young woman's shape move behind the glass, her limbs long and slender.
The
To
campfire was
warm
used by
his
the
hands before
bird.
pulling the trigger? Perhaps. But anyone could have made this. The coast is specked with fire this time of year.
He looks around.
Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2 kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility is awful. There's water vapor everywhere. I think we can rule out Beatable Prime, was it?
Beatable Prime. Finish the thought. I'm still upset. I feel like I should investigate the churchgoers. But first I need to accept the quest from the kids.
Hi again. So, how are things going? Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. Yes, there's also the machinery.
This machinery is of the deeply...
When I first scouted the one of the...
Andre!
Oh,
No! Felt like...
For this man, even regular silence is awful limit.
not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone or something eyeing us inside. But that's kinda it.
The woman, red hair, maybe a lawyer woman?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Okay.
You're not really. Brown hair. Old. Heavy, dark side.
So which one is it?
What Noid said.
Ruby's gone. The woman is someone else. You have to see for yourself. These people are not reliable.
Something else?
Sure. What? As always.
Ultra.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood. The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold.
And get a splinter.
The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch.
Cool. Open the padlock with the
The
key.
lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
Lieutenant nods at you. Pull on the doors.
A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum.
That's exactly what it's doing.
In the heart of the city.
Whoa. Okay. That was pretty grand. A strange stillness fills you as you look ahead. You should walk here, not run. This grotesque wooden figure looks half finished. Feels like it's trying to become one with the church. More of the forked lightning pattern you saw outside. Bark beetles? No. It looks intentional. Some long forgotten style. Hold on. Move this out of the way. I'm gonna keep kicking it. The blackboard is filled with complex equations. They look recent. The bowl is filled with water. A live wire runs directly into it. For reasons.
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
I think I still hear something.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it. But for the faintest of hums. It seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow. If not blotted out, outright. Truly unusual. You can hardly hear your own breathing.
Stomp your feet and clap your hands.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow.
Interesting. Yell as loud as you can.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers.
Turn to Kim.
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Not really, but it's extraordinary. I never experienced anything like this.
I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is.
Whatever it is, it's definitely real. Something odd is happening around
The
us.
lieutenant doesn't reply, but you can sense him tense up next to you.
Look up into the bell tower.
The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
Perception check. 58%, please. Don't, please. Yay!
It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows.
On the ceiling?
Yes, the darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away.
Follow the shadow's movements.
It's not a shadow anymore. becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
The lieutenant follows your gaze, attempting to see whatever it is that you are seeing.
Oh no. You've lost sight of it. Where did it go?
Blink.
You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes.
Excuse me, sir.
Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
Atlas?
The shadow is a man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently. The crab man.
Hey, who's there?
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
That is not the accent I thought you were gonna have. The right place for what?
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This
Cool.
man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. We really need to question him.
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Yeah, I guess I have a bit of a problem. It's been getting out of hand lately, but
Está crudo, way.
está
I see
crudo.
deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence. And you don't even know it.
Oh, I'm very in touch with my suffering, thank you.
Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc El Vino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
It's not so much as vino, it's more like el licor. Para mí, mi amigo.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
If the lieutenant agrees, then maybe, just maybe, you should pay attention.
Fuck you, Crabman! You don't tell us what to do! Tell him!
Thank you, necktie. For some reason I feel like you have a point here. Adjust your tie. Who you think you are? Some crazy guy into the roof? What is this shit? Alcohol is central to my identity. If I wouldn't drink, just wouldn't be me. You know what this is. It's all well and good. We need to talk about the unlicensed occupation of ecclesiastic property.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger.
Wasteland of reality. His voice echoes in the cold air of the church.
This is the Church of the Mother of Silence.
Oh.
You are welcome here.
He sways gently on the beams, waiting for you to take it all in. That's a pretty threatening way to present that. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Is he just trying to throw you off your game? Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. Just look how gracefully he sways.
He's not so much swaying as it is leading against the diagonal beam.
'Tis not an act, my liege. Save him perchance, he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
You must be the crab man. Some neighbors want to turn this place into a nightclub. You know where the other spooker is?
Never known myself to be a crab. But if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it.
Yeah, it's really more like a spider. If you're not a crab, then what are you? Yeah, more like
I
a
always
spider.
thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique.
That's not the only technique he's working on. Look at those carved sculptures. And is that a satchel of tools over there?
Did you also carve all those sculptures?
Sure am. Whittling wood used to be something I just did to busy my hands. Now I use those same hands in service of something greater than my own restlessness.
You got some nice curves going there. You promoted the objectification of women with your reactionary depiction of female bodies. I have two choices. You got some nice curves going there. You promoted the objectification of women with your reactionary depiction of female bodies. Fuck it.
It's all just for the mother, man. No need to overthink it.
How were you before you became a crab man and a wood carver?
I was in a gang way, but my memories of that time are faded. Most of them are already gone.
Are you naked? You are definitely naked. So many people losing their memory at certain points in their doom. I lost my memory too, and it haunts me.
No, man. You gotta let that shit go.
He looks back
Then
at
the
you as he
mother's
wants to
light
pat you on the
touch
back.
will fill you with rapture.
Do you remember your name, sir?
The lieutenant is not particularly interested in this information. He's just trying to assert some control over the conversation.
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also, so to speak, your place amongst your fellows, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore.
My name's Harry. Extend your hand for a greeting.
That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters.
He ignores your hand. His limbs were a mere shadow below the ceiling. What are you doing here?
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
Who's this mother's silence you keep talking about? She sounds kind of metal.
Oh, that's no simple question, Essa. She is one who can be painted or sculpted.
Although you will keep trying.
She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
Tell me this, if the mother's silence is nothingness, then why does she have a gender? Wouldn't nothing in the concept be amorphous without identity, gender, race, culture, or anything else? What will happen once you drink from this preparation?
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, at one with the state of the world before reality began.
The state of the world before reality began was cold.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
You sure you didn't just switch one drug for another?
It's not like that at all, man. It's just faith and joyful service.
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you. To his very own self.
Faith is a kind of a drug.
I heard that before, Way. And I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night?
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your system.
I think love might have been my drug of choice. I think I'm still hungover from it.
She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean of the mother's love.
The mother's silence is cold and dark.
The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out.
Oh, so you're a vorophile, huh? That's what it all comes... It always comes back to vor, doesn't it? God damn it. I guess you have a point.
I know it will take time. Don't sweat it.
Still don't understand what you're doing in this church.
Don't sweat it. I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
You should sing for me, the superstar caught. Doesn't really make sense for you to sing if she's the mother of silence.
I don't mean literal singing, Holmes. This is the mother of silence we're talking about. It's the singing of a burning heart. You may be thinking, but fire crackles. No, Holmes. That's the material that's burning. The flames themselves are without sound.
That is a good point. How did you even find this place, this church?
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, eh? It didn't belong to me.
You don't like it. It keeps coming up in like the weirdest spots. I don't choose these games. I don't choose these games because I'm like, oh, there might be vor in this, but it just keeps coming up. And I don't understand why. I had other
The
questions.
sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
You've been here a long time. Do you know why the church was abandoned?
Police raid a while back.
He responds, his voice suddenly flat.
Did you witness it?
Not really. Or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
Except for the mother. Some ravers want to turn this place into a nightclub.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me.
This is a good idea. You should support it. Do they have a reason to be
Nah,
scared?
man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway.
So what do you think about the nightclub that is?
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go.
Holy shit, this guy.
Might even be nice to have some company.
He's actually cool.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
You know what the other spooker is? One of the strange machines around
Other
here.
spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
I think you said the old guy is very studious. I think. I don't know. Viejita. I'm not quite sure what viejita means.
Viejita is grandma.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Why did Rhetoric give me that non-encyclopedia? Alright. So there is another person living in this church, and it's a viejita?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
Wait, what if it's Ruby?
Reaction
Did
speed!
it ever seem to you like she was hiding here from something?
Lieutenant seems to be thinking the same. He takes out his little notebook.
You mean like a fugitive?
He glances at the abandoned radio computer on the other side of the nave, pulsing with light. Then he shakes his head.
No, man. Quite the opposite. I don't think she cared much about authority or anything else for that matter. Maybe only about her machines.
I see. And where is she now?
I told you, Holmes. I don't know.
How can you not know that when you both live here?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
So you got nothing else to tell me? How she looks, what she does, who she is?
I'm afraid not, Essay. You just have to wait until she comes back, or...
He shrugs.
Or search through her radio computer.
Yeah, that works too. Okay then, thanks. So I can tell the kids to go for the nightclub. What is this? Miss Banger's silk scarf. Oh, that's the replacement for the tie. I don't want that. I like my horrific necktie. Pain threshold. Bangers don't cry. Hold on, hold on. These boys don't cry. A figure drawn in frost in the window depicting a deer. A deer. Frost is drawn flowers in the glass obscuring the view. A cracked pane of glass, colorful. A spider spun his web around this wood claw pillar. Miss Banger's silk shoes. Empathy in someone else's shoes.
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
A radio computer. And it's turned on.
He seems cautious around the machine.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
We should probably let it be. It's becoming clear that there's no trace of the suspect anywhere inside the church.
But what is this
A
strange
radio
thing?
computer. We have one down at the station. No, I don't know how to operate it or what it's used for. Let's go.
A quaint little box of radio waves.
Yeah, let's get out of here. If Kim is wary, I probably should be too. A portable Harman Washi tape recorder. Harman Washi? Is it possible it's recording something? Someone's siphoning electrical current from outside into this antenna. 2 decks of reel-to-reel tape spinning on empty.
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad. A dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day.
Dolores Day!
Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel.
Kneel.
Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts, diffuse light falling on your hands from beyond the glass.
Close your eyes first.
The world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the massive wooden structure behind you. It covers you from the wind outside. The ocean feels distant, its ebb and flow blocked off by the centuries-old pinewood sarcophagus around you. In the darkness, you sense her eyes on you, inspecting you with their multicolored glass, as if you're a bug under a microscope.
Open your eyes.
The woman looks down at you, kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips, and a glint in her green-blue eye. Of what? Compassion? Remorse? She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. You.
It's morning.
As that terrible word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder.
Do the same as you get up.
Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
This is Dolores Day.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the Small Pinewood Church in some records.
You knew of this place?
It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
What else do you know?
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Setsa, they call them. The 7 Sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find the instigator here. Something else, perhaps.
It looks at the machinery lying around.
Respectful. Is the lieutenant a follower of DeLoreanism? A pang of guilt? The lieutenant is leaving something out.
Do you know why it was abandoned? Well, the crabman, Tiago, said it was a raid.
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the RCM than many around here.
Who conducted this raid?
Well, your station was involved, I hear. Although I can't be sure.
How come the lieutenant isn't sure? Is this confidential information?
You're not sure.
3 precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them.
I guess it could have been here.
I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it, why it was conducted, or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters.
If I was here, I should find out what I was doing.
Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now.
Kim, are you a follower of DeLoreanism?
Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are DeLorean in origin.
I didn't think you were spiritual.
It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The DeLorean system does not demand faith, only accordance.
That's an interesting religion. It's a religion that's not religious, but secular. How did I know this is the mother of humanism? 72%?
Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hip. This is the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived
Brain thing.
and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men.
What exactly is an innocence? I read the book, but it was fuzzy.
The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world's spirit.
A ruler?
More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built to accommodate an authentic rule should it coincide with our time. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is an honor and a glory to live when one is in office.
That's way too much power. Is one in office now?
No, we are alone.
When did she rule?
300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi. She is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world.
What else do I know about
Many
her?
things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur, Queen of Serene, modern-day
Serene.
Clay. Also, that she was gorgeous beyond beauty. Draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed?
Yes.
Yes! Big Mama! Boring history! Gonna keep it light, man! Keep it moving! Get fucked up instead!
Where's this coming from?
The past. It's a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should keep away.
Fuck this pain, Bratan! It's unhealthy!
No, you must know.
Okay, what else? Was she smart?
Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state, a scalpel, a piercing gaze. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous.
How come?
It was on her advice that Irene La Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history. The DeLorean era.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest.
It's not a thing that happens, but okay.
Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt.
I want
As did
more.
we all. The lands of the Mest.
I want more.
and
Give me
Far
more.
Supra Mawindi. Altogether, 21 of the 40 Mundial nations of the time immediately accepted Innocentick rule, even before her crowning.
Her crowning?
In a city called Advesperaskit in Vesper Messina, her homeland, the name of the city means evening comes, but it happened on a winter's morning, with the canals frozen and slush falling out of the sky.
Not a good day for canaling.
She was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied-out plaza with the crowd far away. Already, her Theriers, the secret servicemen of the Innocents, were worried about an assassination attempt.
She must have been beautiful.
Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly
Certainly
beautiful. It was as if her face and shoulders and hands were covered in a soft down of underfeathers. You know this well, very well.
How old am I?
Midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by as her Theriers placed a white gold wreath on her head. The crowning was mostly witnessed by secret servicemen.
Then what?
One of the men in this secret service killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to suspect that Dolores Day was not entirely human, but something else.
What?
Something that had walked in our midst.
Well,
watching
maybe
us
she wasn't
stumble for
human if her
hundreds,
lungs were
not
glowing.
thousands of years, until it decided to interfere in the course of our history. We were supposed to come up with this ourselves. The man was reported to have screamed at the innocents.
Prime directive, do not interfere.
Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times.
That's
The man,
excessive.
thought to be insane, said he once touched her and her body had been unnaturally warm, like a furnace, and that sometimes, while on duty, he observed her forgetting to breathe for over 10 minutes.
Your Honor, she wasn't breathing.
This inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is commonly attributed to mass hysteria and religious psychology.
Was there something terrifying about her? I mean, other than the glowing lungs and not breathing?
Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it. But terrifying, it's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her.
Was there something bad about her? I want to
You
know.
already do. Although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, there was something ominous about Dolores Day. Constantly surrounded by her terriers, she was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaigns she waged against the Mesk state. And then
Oh, I found all
there
these
was a
mess
settlement
clothes in the
program.
church. That's kind of ironic.
The Mesk state tried to detach itself from innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Marguerite were problematic as well.
She's literally
Dissenters were
Kuvira,
suppressed
but
by a
kind of
military
worse.
force she called
And
the
also,
Army of Humanity,
Kuvira didn't have glowing body parts.
suggesting those who fight against it are not part of humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games.
That
Dolores
is
Day
chess.
often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the color of the Pacific, mare interregnum.
Mare interregnum.
Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying that people seldom mention, but feel when they think of her. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Lieutenant Freighter, you've stood there for 5 minutes.
The tennis convoys echoes in the cold air of the
What
church.
are you thinking of, if I may ask?
She's not human.
Okay.
He takes his glasses off to clean them. Then after a while he says,
This church, the coast in general, we shouldn't linger here. This isn't a good place to get lost in. We should conclude our business and move on.
I don't know if Kim doesn't like us challenging her, or if he would have just said the same thing, even if we said like she's beautiful or whatever else. 58%? Why not? Let's take our chances.
A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both.
What shattered this mosaic?
Unknown.
Alright, thank you, visual calculus.
Something during the raid the lieutenant mentioned, or just hooligans looking for something to break.
Who is this older woman?
The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden Reichsapfel in one hand and a
Reichsapfel.
scepter in the other. This is the queen her Innocence Day advised. Above, she herself is home. Small figures of wise men, common men, Worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, Theriers, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail.
The motto, what does it say?
Below both women, in luminous black letters, après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau.
Après la vie, mort. Try to live, die. Try to die, live anew.
And then, along the left side, après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau.
This used to say afterlife, death. After...
Death. Life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again.
Oh, the cycle continues.
This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however.
What is the RCM motto now?
Justice, union, prudence, and force.
Not very feminine. Like the other one better.
So do I.
The mother of humanism towers above you, a wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her.
Leave. That was informative. I'm kind of lost in the sauce there for a second. But I can inform the ravers that they can... They can start up their club there. Here, there, everywhere.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
About the church, I checked it out.
And? What happened?
I talked to the crab man.
Oh, man. Who is he? What did you think?
Seems okay to be honest, very spiritual. And he's a true narcomaniac, and the way he climbs was terrifying. Seems okay to be honest, very spiritual.
Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
Just preaching and praying from the looks
No
of
matter. Is he gonna be a problem? Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back to the point. What are we gonna do about him?
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
He keeps himself physically active, thinks spiritual thoughts and doesn't drink. Who am I to evict such a person? I'm coming around there and guys, you'll never catch him. Actually, he told me he wouldn't mind the nightclub at all.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
I think he really gives a damn about you or anyone else.
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that I think of it.
Everyone is welcome to dance till the morning light! Yeah!
Yeah!
Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her?
I didn't see the other spooker, just the machines.
But she's in there somewhere. Has to be. Have you tried investigating the machines? Anyway, do let us know if you see her.
Ah, shoot.
As always,
I have to do something with the machines. In spite of Kim's warnings. Alright. So I need to... I want to head back to the Whirling in Rags. And let Steve Irwin know about his trap. I do that, I'm going to call it for the night as soon as I figure out how to get down from here. How would you guys feel about Starfield when it comes out? I'm thinking about doing a longer stream of that on my birthday, since that is when the game comes out, which is a happy coincidence. Yes, Bethesda's game. Where are you?
It's great to see you again, officer. My wife can't wait to thank you. Go on, talk to her.
Okay. I'll talk to the wife and not to you.
I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
It's just on my way while I was working on the case. I'm basically also a cryptozoologist now.
I knew it.
He could say quietly to himself.
I'm not surprised. It's already getting out of hand.
Well, in that case, sweetie, let me give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie, Mesk in origin. The pin is an antique, quite special to the cryptozoological community.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull with 8 eyes.
You never told me you've seen the Phasmid.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
Ramblings? Nonsense. Your description of the Phasmid is the most precise I've ever heard.
But darling, I didn't even get the size of it right.
You were a child, my dear. Really. It's extraordinary what you were able to describe. Now go on. Tell our friend about it. He's proven his interest in the field.
That is a way bigger compliment than it sounds like. Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden...
Where was this and how old were you?
I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5 and a half in Betancourt in the suburbs. My grandmother had a summer home there.
Nice.
She'd just started forming memories. Real memories. Not the billowy haze of infanthood.
What happened?
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some antique toy. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds.
Did you follow it?
I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there knee-deep in mud, looking around me.
Where did you go? Don't go.
Then what?
I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly. But then I met Morel.
We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed report of the Insulindian Phasmid I've ever heard. The sounds, She told me it hissed.
Hissed.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant for them.
It did, yes. Like reeds in a gust of wind.
The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white, like marble. It matched perfectly with what I know from other accounts. It was amazing. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession.
He looks at her with admiration, forgetting a wide smile on his face. You were on a date?
Our first, yes.
The woman looks at her husband tenderly. His limbs are white?
Not all of them. There is some white coloration reported, along with beige, where the camouflage ends.
How big was it?
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case.
I'm not gonna ask him what he thinks. Thank you for sharing this with me.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So warm.
And she could get up and walk right into the reeds on her own, into the mud, anywhere.
You know, I have no problem with people like this. Like, whatever you want to believe, as long as you're not hurting anybody, it's fine. Like, and it's possible, like, there may be some creature out there that we haven't seen. Like, if we find evidence of it, like, cool, go ahead. It's like, that would be an amazing discovery. So, like, yeah, let's just let them live their lives. They're just, like, two people that found love together through their love of cryptids, so this one specific cryptid. That's perfectly fine. And it's kind of cute, actually, too. That's all for now, ma'am. You kids have fun. Can I afford the sneakers? I'll never let my secular beliefs get in the way of two people loving each other. Yeah, so got a minute? It's the first time someone wanted to talk to me. What happened to the sneaker guy? Was he down here, actually? Yes, he was.
The shine on these sunglasses.
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph over them. They've...
Alright, I need to get him speakers to put on speakers to... Oh no, I just want the sneakers and they're $50. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, this is where we're going to end things for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me, and I sincerely apologize for that shiver grinding. Yes, we will be back at this tomorrow, about 3-4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join me for more of this. We are getting close to some kind of conclusion, I promise you. But yes, thank you for joining me tonight. Please follow if you haven't already so you do not miss out on all this awesome content. And until next time, ja, mata, bye bye. I'm very tired.